All right, let's jump right in. We're going to unravel a secret today, and it's hidden inside a word you probably use, I don't know, a dozen times a day. It seems super simple, but trust me, it's the key to a much, much bigger story.
So that word, it's true. We see simple words like this all over the place, right? Especially on websites that are trying to be really clear. But here's the thing. What if that simplicity wasn't just, helpful? What if it was totally on purpose? Part of some kind of hidden system?
Okay, so let's just do a little experiment. Say you look up the word true on a site like the Simple English Wiktionary. You would expect a pretty basic, straightforward definition, right? Makes sense. And yet, that's pretty much exactly what you find. The definition is just crystal clear, correct or real, not imagined or made up. I mean, there's no fancy jargon, no academic language. It's just direct, simple. Anyone can get it instantly. And it keeps going with that same vibe. It gives you a synonym, honest, and a couple of perfect opposites, dishonest and false. It's like a masterclass in clarity, just mapping out how the word fits with others in the simplest way possible. And then, of course, it lays out the different forms: true, truer, truest. Now, all of this seems totally normal, right? You'd probably look at this page, think, okay, cool, it's a dictionary entry, and just click away. But if you did that, you'd miss the absolute biggest clue on the whole page. See, tucked away on this very page is this one little sentence, a tiny clue that tells you this whole simple thing is no accident at all. It's actually pointing to something way bigger, way more fascinating. Honestly, it's super easy to miss, but once you see it, it just opens up this huge question. It's almost like finding a key that's just been sitting there waiting for someone to pick it up and unlock the real reason this page is written the way it is. And here it is. The sentence says, true is on the Basic English 850 list. And you just have to stop and think, what in the world is that, the Basic English 850 list? That sounds so specific, so intentional. This isn't just some random fun fact. It's a label, a category. And that is the puzzle we're going to solve. All right, so if we want to crack this thing open, we've got to figure out what that list is all about. And the real key here is that phrase, Basic English. So let's decode it. Okay, the number you need to remember is 850. And this is not just some random number they pulled out of a hat. No, it's a hard limit. It's the entire foundation for a whole specially designed version of the English language. And that is what Basic English is. It's a controlled language. Think of it as a starter pack for English, built from a core vocabulary of only 850 words. And every single one of those words was carefully picked for how powerful and useful it is. And the goal behind it? Well, it was huge, super ambitious. It was meant to be a tool for people all over the world to communicate clearly. It was supposed to be an easy first step for anyone learning English. And most importantly, it was all about promoting a way of speaking that's so direct and so clear that it's basically impossible to misunderstand. Okay, so now that we know what Basic English is, let's circle all the way back to that first definition of true. All of a sudden, it doesn't just look simple anymore, does it? It looks incredibly smart. And here it is, the big reveal. The whole reason that Wiktionary page is so unbelievably clear is because it's written using only words from that 850-word list. It's a perfect demonstration of the entire idea in action. It's not just about Basic English, it is Basic English. And this is where you can really see the magic. I mean, a typical dictionary might throw words at you like conforming to fact or reality, veracious. Okay, but the Basic English version? Correct or real, not imagined or made up. They're both getting at the same idea, sure, but one of them is understandable to pretty much anyone on the planet instantly. This just shows you the whole system at work. The definition of true is actually built using other words from the 850 list, words like correct and real. It completely dodges jargon by sticking to these super fundamental building blocks, and it makes perfect sense that the word true itself would have to be one of those core 850 words, right? So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Why are we even talking about this idea that's like almost 100 years old? Well, I think it's because it shows us something really important about the hidden power of keeping things simple. The big idea here is that sometimes having limits, having constraints, can actually be a superpower. Being forced to use fewer words doesn't mean your ideas get smaller. Actually, a lot of the time, It forces you to say what you mean with way more clarity and way more impact than you ever would have otherwise. Which kind of brings us full circle and leaves us with one final thought. We started this whole thing by asking what true means. But I think what we really learned is that how you say something can be just as important as what you're saying. So let me ask you this. If you were limited to just those 850 words, what would you say is true? What ideas are so important, so essential, that they make the cut?